This video is brought to you by Andy Gone Nuts. 100% guaranteed fresh coconut water delivered straight to your door. Call 876 309 6128. That's 876 309 6128. Refreshing and affordable. For more information, follow them on Instagram at Andy Gone Nuts. Truly refreshing. And Crumble by Mrs. C. Old English fudge and other delectable sweet treats. Call or WhatsApp 876 586 0471. That's 876 586 0471. Hey guys, thank you so much for taking your time out to watch this video in particular. But let me give you an update on a channel called Sport City. Yes, Sport City. It is a channel dedicated to everything related to Jamaican sports. Football, cricket, athletics, netball, rugby league, rugby union, tennis, lacrosse, swimming, you name it, we got it on Sport City. And what is the channel designed to do? It is designed to highlight Jamaican talents across all of those sporting disciplines. If you're a Jamaican and you're playing that sport, then we got you covered on Sport City. So it's quite simple, guys. Hit the subscribe button to Sport City right now. This video is also brought to you by BLC Jamaica Security Electronics, specializing in alarm system, video surveillance, camera system or CCTV, barrier system, gate automation, and access control. Call 876 320 7711. That's 876 320 7711 or 876 351 1105. That's 876 351 1105. Good evening, everybody. I'm Simon Preston, and welcome back to Reggae Boys Commentary. This is the platform where we come together to discuss everything in relation to Jamaican football. This is your hub for everything Jamaican football related. How are you guys' evening going? Hope you all are doing well. Have you guys watched the latest videos on this channel? Well, earlier today, you would have seen the debutants for Jamaica for 2024 and also the match for Jamaica for 2024. What was the moment of 2024 for Jamaica? And also a couple of shorts as well that you guys can make note about as well in relation to the Reggae Girls, those that have plied their trade in France and also Spain as well, the pioneers of Jamaican football that have played football professionally within France and within Spain as well, where club football is concerned. So very, very interesting, and I do hope that you all are able to make keynote and watch those in particular as well. All right, so everybody, it's Sunday evening, it's December 15th. How is everybody doing? Everybody doing okay? Well, I certainly hope that you all are doing well. Did you have a good day? Productive day? Because we certainly do have a lot to speak about, and that is what we're going to get into quite soon, so that we can be able to get into that in due course. So if you guys haven't already, I encourage you to hit the like button, share, and subscribe to Reggae Boys Commentary for more content, okay? So please do that. Like, share, comment, subscribe for more content, and we can be able to get right to the information. All right? Good. So with that being said, we can be able to progress into this video. And also use the super chat feature as well, so you can show your support to the platform as well. Okay, let's get to 22K before the end of 2024. All right, good. Good to see everybody as well. So good to see the comments as well that are in. There's a year of strides. Yeah, that is right. Yep, you're absolutely right. Simon, explain round 3 to me. I will. I'm going to do that for sure. I'm going to explain round 3 so that you understand that a little bit better, and so that everybody can get the full gist of things. So I'm going to do that, and everybody from there can be able to basically get a clearer understanding of it. Okay? So that is what we're going to do at this point. All right? Good. So with that being said now, the title of this video is 2024, a year to remember. Yes, that is right. 2024, a year to remember. Our Reggae Girls picking up back-to-back wins for the first time since 2022. Long may that continue as we head into 2025, which will be a World Cup qualifying year. Yes, that is right. 2024 will be a World Cup qualifying year for women, and I believe it starts at the October window. The October window is when World Cup qualifying starts for the women, so we can be able to make keen note and attention to that in particular. So we can look forward to that. All right, so everybody can be aware from at this point in time. Yes, we know that come 2025 in the calendar year in October, that's when World Cup qualifying will commence for the women. All right, good. So now that we have that said, we can go straight into what you can see on your screen, World Cup qualifying. But first, the moment of 2024. What was the moment of 2024 for our men? Well, it was, that's right, picking up 6 points in World Cup qualifying. 6 points from our opening 2 games, and we're going for more. That's right, we are going for more as well. As you can see so far in CONCACAF World Cup qualifying, Shamar Nicholson and Rangelo Garjanga have 3 goals so far in the qualifying. We're now in the second round, but this is how the first round of the qualifiers ended. So the British Virgin Islands, who Jamaica will face next. Ty says, bless up, Simon. Bless up, Ty. Hope you're doing well. So remember, that in relation specifically to World Cup qualifying, right? Jamaica is playing the British Virgin Islands next, right? And with that being said, as you know, with Jamaica facing the British Virgin Islands next, I'm showing you some information on the BVI so that you understand. So the BVI, they faced the US Virgin Islands in round 1. This was back in the March window, and the British Virgin Islands won 4-2 on penalties. It's compelling because the games did not have the away goal rule, but it is what it is. If it did have the away goal rule, then it would have been British Virgin Islands anyway, being able to advance. But yep, we continue. So the BVI is in round 2, and this is what the group looks like. You see it? You see the group? Because that is the group that we have, and that we are in, and it's a lot. Sherman Scott, how are you doing, sir? Hope you're doing well, man. Enough respect, man. Big up to you. Big up to the family. Yeah, man. Hope you're doing well, man. Enough respect. And I am going to get to this question quite shortly. Okay? Good. So, in this second round, you have 6 groups. Group A, Group B, Group C, Group D, Group E, Group F. The top 2 teams from each of those 6 groups will advance to the third round, which in itself is the final round. Okay? Good. So now that we have that said, everybody's clear. This is what Group A looks like as it stands. Honduras, Cuba, Cayman Islands, Antigua, and Barbuda and Bermuda. I think that group could remain as is, but let's see. Let's see how everything falls into place. All right? We'll see how things will add up, Group B. So what Group B looks like a wide open group, to be quite frank with you. A wide open group, a group that can go anywhere. Because you have Grenada that will take on the Bahamas next. And after that, Grenada is going to face St. Kitts and Nevis. So you have a situation where you can have, and you also have a situation where St. Kitts and Nevis, not only do they face Grenada, but St. Kitts and Nevis will also be facing Trinidad and Tobago. So it's a 6-6 pointer any way you look at it. A Grenada with 6 points, a St. Kitts and Nevis with 6 points could leapfrog Trinidad and Tobago. There's still so much football to be played because remember, Costa Rica still has Trinidad and Tobago to play. So if St. Kitts and Nevis goes and beats Trinidad and Tobago, not only would they have to hope that St. Kitts and Nevis doesn't get a result against Grenada, but they would also have to ensure that they do some business against Costa Rica as well. But at that point, Costa Rica could move to 9 points by then because Costa Rica have Bahamas to play. So Group B, a very compelling one, you could say, in the grand scheme of things. You go to Group C, you have Curacao, Haiti, St. Lucia, Aruba, Barbados. All right? That's how things stand at the moment. St. Lucia, they got off to a good start in relation to the very, very close getting on the cusp of qualifying for the Gold Cup, but Curacao did the job. In Group D, Nicaragua, Panama, Guyana, Montserrat, Belize. Nicaragua, Panama, flying within that group in particular. So they've gotten off to a start that they would have wanted. Guyana will be pushing their way to ensure that they can be able to get a result. But they know they have to go to Nicaragua and beat Nicaragua. Before we look at Jamaica's group, I want to look at Group F. And this is a group that truly can go in any different direction. It really can. Look at it. Suriname, Puerto Rico, El Salvador, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Anguilla. That's a group that still is open. And then Group E, Guatemala, Jamaica, Dominican Republic, Dominica, and the British Virgin Islands. That is what Group E looks like as it stands. Up next, it's British Virgin Islands away, and then it is Guatemala at home, June 10 at the National Stadium. Okay, so many home opportunities next year for Jamaica. You think about the Gold Cup prelims against St. Vincent and the Grenadines. You think about the home game against Guatemala, and then of course September, October, November. So you're looking at 5 home games in competitive games, and when you put friendlies in the mix, it could be 7 or it could be more. So but there's ample opportunities at home next year for persons to be excited and riveting about. A great, great, great opportunity to put that into practice, And did everybody listen? Did everybody listen to the press conference on Friday? Well, if you haven't, I encourage you to do so because some very, very compelling things were said, and I'd want you to pay keen attention and to listen to those things as we look forward to this calendar year. Okay? So let's listen to some of those things as we look forward to the next calendar year. Okay?
Administration and the fiscal side. You'd have known that one of the things when I came here in November 2022, we had said that we would provide regular updates to the public, and whether good or bad, and we have been doing that. We've gone through a little tumultuous period with the election, and we always were very transparent. So we continue that trend of transparency, which I believe is critical for us to have if we're going to work together and ensure the development of the JFF and football. I would have been now in the well, after 2 years, everyone knows I'm on a 3-year contract with the JFF. So this would be my, I've completed 2 years now. So let me start by just saying that, we are very happy with the support that the media has always provided to JFF, and reported on our progress, and we are also happy with the staff. I want to thank the staff of the JFF for the support that they've provided, because as we know, as one famous prime minister said, it takes cash to care, and therefore the monetary or the fiscal side of the program is always very important. I want to start by just saying first that there's been some staffing developments you should know about, and I want to celebrate some people. We have 4 persons who are going to be retiring at the end of this year. Those persons would have mentioned before, Mr. Wendell Downswell, who has served very well the JFF and Jamaica football, and enough cannot be said about Wendell's contribution. Mr. Earl Bailey, who has served us very well also, and has been a face of football. Beverly Melbourne, thinking about the runner, who has served us very well also, and Mrs. Watson, who is our security officer, who has served us very well. Some of them will be going on to additional contracts with the JFF, of course, but they're in their substantive role. They will move away from that. Mr. Simon Preston is now the press officer of the JFF, as you'd have seen, and we'll have a marketing manager who will be joining us next year as we focus on the revenue building side of the JFF. And other updates on staffing issues will come during the year 2025, the start certainly. So I want to take the opportunity to thank these persons who have contributed significantly. You'll hear more about how we're going to celebrate them, and also the staff at the JFF, because it has been a lot. I mean, a lot of times people don't see the background work that's happening that goes into a game or the organization of the events. I want to also thank the 3 support groups who have come out and have played a significant role in helping us to mend the image of the JFF and get more support out there. In particular, persons like Errol Walters out of New York, Kyle Wallace out of New York, and Huntley Dickinson also. And also you'll hear from Gary Graham about an initiative he's working on with us. These are persons who have come out and said, hey, we recognize what is happening with the JFF and we want to lend our support, right? There has been no cost to the JFF, and therefore I want to thank these persons for their contribution and their continued support to the JFF. And it shows that they're really true Jamaicans, even though living in the diaspora, to develop the brand of the JFF. I want to now just give you an update on the operations, where we are from a financial point of view. Over the past year, we've put a lot of policies in place. Of note, we've had the travel policy, which we've worked with FIFA on putting that in. And we are now at the end of a procurement exercise for a travel advisor who is going to be with us for the next 2 years. That process has closed in terms of the bids on Wednesday, and we're now in the process of selecting that successful candidate. The reason why this one is important is because, we would have had in this year a successful audit coming out of FIFA or central review audit, where the only issue remaining was the one of the travel procurement. The Caribbean in particular has been very difficult. in terms of adhering to the procurement rules that were there before because of the limited number of spaces we have available in the Caribbean. And therefore, each time we get a quote, the price would automatically go up because once they reserve the seats that we've asked for, then the demand would still be there, but the supply would go down. So we've had to work on another initiative with FIFA, and we're expecting to close that and in January announce a travel consultant who will be working with us, successful person from the bid. So we've put in place a lot of policies to strengthen the governance, financial governance, and other governance of the JFF. And you know, we think that we've been doing the best that we can and leading the way for that. In particular, some of the improvements that we've made has really helped with our own compliance. So the JFF continues to maintain a relevant and up-to-date tax compliance certificate. As I always say, is not something that many companies can say that they have. We've had now for over a year had an up-to-date tax compliance certificate. So we're in a good stead with the tax authorities. And just to look at the financial side, year to date, November, the 11 months, the JFF has reported a surplus of $105.3 million. This is compared to a deficit of $11.4 million the same time last year. What it means for us is that we are slowly, or maybe a little more than slowly, working on reducing our negative equity position, which is very important for us. And last year, this time we had a negative equity of $242 million, $242.5 million. As at the end of November 2024, we have a negative equity of $82.6 million, which is a significant improvement. And for those who are accountants, when you look at your balance sheet, as I'm an accountant, you will see the significant improvement in our current ratio. For example, moving from 0.4 to 0.58 this year, which the measurement is that the closer to 1 or over you are, the better it is. So we're making moves in that direction. We've managed to, by doing so, increase our cash resources and reduce our payables significantly to the point now where we really don't have any aging issues. With I would say 90%, we've paid up everybody that we've owed, and within the credit period. So we've made some significant strides. We have all the players who play for us. We actually have paid up the current players, and you know, we've had issues with those things in the past, and we're now current. In fact, the game that just ended, the South Africa game, we're actually making those payments have been made for the game to the girls, and also the men have been paid up. So we're current with that, and that is thanks to the work that's been done by the staff. As a Grace Grant, our accountant, is on, and she's the one who has really led this change in terms of ensuring that we adhere to proper budgeting and fiscal rules. So, you know, thanks a lot for the support. So we have made some significant progress there. Going into next year, and we have Congress in January. I don't know if the president will want to mention that soon also. We know that it's going to be a more challenging year financially. So we have decided that what we need to do is focus on building revenue and bringing in new revenues. So coming out of the last 2 games, you'd have seen that we were actually streaming the events on our YouTube channel, JFF Live, which is our JFF TV. And that is something that on the 10th of January, we plan to launch JFF Live. And what we will be doing is we will be monetizing the channel. So we will be streaming all our games, right, that we play on that channel. We'll invite subscribers on at a cost, of course, and also there will be a cost to view the game. What it does also in terms of working with the inadequate infrastructure that we have in Jamaica, it allows more and more people to view it. So I know next year the stadium, they're going to start the work on it, and the seating capacity is going to be limited. With this YouTube channel, we are going to be able to bring more and more people in to see the game. And the quality is going to be very good. Gary, who is here, will speak to that. But certainly, we're going to produce a first-class production. Is going to be out there, and we're going to ensure that persons from around the world are able to see it. I know the last game we had over 60,000 views per game, and that is pretty sick. I don't know if the president wants to take that first.
The question, I heard a little bit about what we did not achieve. Was that?
Yeah. I'll ask one question because Simon is saying.
I mean, I think we have not been able to expose enough of our young players. And I want to use this opportunity of highlighting a successful schoolboys competition, which would have given us an opportunity to see some of our youngsters
coming on, not just at the level of the JFF, but also at the local level. I think that the elections would have put a damper on that and created some negative imaging. I've late last year, for example, I was in negotiations with a major sponsor, and because of the elections, they pulled out and didn't do anything. But I'm heartened recently by some approaches, including two persons who approached me, two different organizations, about sponsoring at the local level, right? So not at the JFF level, but the local parish level, and I'm having discussions on that. And I think that as we change the image more positively of JFF, so when people don't see that you owe money all over the place and that more and more people come on. I mean, that's how corporate people are. So I'm hoping that, two have come on at the local level. I'm hoping that more will come on and talk to me. And this is based on their own initiative. So it's not people that we've actually gone out and spoken to. And I'm hoping that more people also come on at the national level. So that is just the timing of it for me. Would have been a disappointment for 24.
Well, I'm very pleased and comfortable about direction of travel when they come monetarily, Dennis, because I know you're taking care of that, and I'm glad you focus on that. And I want to talk to you a lot more about that. But here's my second question, because we talked a lot about the positive aspect of things, and I love that. But
must be addressed. So yeah, we are aware of what the issues were. I think indiscipline would have been of some concern on that ill-fated tour. But we are aware of what the issues were, and we are intent on having them corrected, sir.
Okay. That's my
directed to me.
Yes, President.
But very, very relevant question, Mr. Bryce. And of course, we have a technical committee that is already working on transferring the talent from 14 to 15, 15 to 17. And we would have already had discussions in this regard. I mean, next year would be the CONCACAF under 15, and we're hoping that the under 14, a nucleus of that under 14 group, would be able to make the transition to the under 15s. Then those under 15s next year will certainly now be the core of the under 17s for the following year. And I think it's timely that our under 14 would have done so very well this year. And again, I want to give some credit to the TDS program. And the under 14s now will hopefully make the transition to the CONCACAF under 15 next year. Under 17 World Cup now is every year. So we have to put some succession planning in place to ensure that we are very, very competitive for the next, at least for the next 5 years, when the under 17 World Cup will be every year. And these 5 consecutive tournaments will be played in Qatar. So yes, we are very aware of the importance of engaging the right technical persons. And I did mention the skill sets of our A licensed coaches. And there are a number of B licensed coaches now who are prepared to move on to become A licensed coaches. So the coaching aspect of it, and of course, harnessing the talents at under 14 to go to under 15, and then under 15 to under 17, very important. And that's the route our technical committee will be taking.
Bryce, did you have a follow-up? Okay. Okay, Mr. Chung, there was a question in the chat in relates to updates in relation to airline deal. Do you have any updates where that is concerned?
No, I actually had a discussion with the person who is working on it last week, and they're still working through it. They're hoping for a breakthrough in January. So we don't have anything on that yet. And one of the persons who I've been talking to also was one of the persons who made a bid in the travel procurement process. So we're hoping that, you know, even if we don't have a deal with a direct airline, which we're talking to 2 of them now, we would at least have a deal with someone in the industry who can assist us with getting, you know, discounted flights and that sort of thing. Because the idea is really to cut down on the costs. Is probably the most significant cost we have. So we're working on it from different angles. So hopefully January or so, we will have that in place.
Okay, thanks, Eddie. Let's hear from Dwight Spence now. Mr. Spence.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Simon. Good morning to the JFF leadership team.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you very much. This is more a technically related question. In regards to our young and viable up-and-coming professionals, as you mentioned, there were 14 domestically groomed and homegrown Reggae Boys that made the senior national team squad in 2024. What are your plans for elite U17, U20, U21 players in collaboration and synergy with the technical committee, Coach McLaren, and technical?
As it is structured now, the country is divided into 4 regions. Each region has a scout that is part of the technical development scheme. And like I said, each region has a scout. And the role of that scout is to move around the respective parishes and to identify elite players, have them recommended to Speed and Downsville and that committee. And then we take them as the elite players now spread all over the country from each of the 4 regions and certainly from each of the parishes. Then we take them to the technical center based in Kingston and have them there in an organized setting, operating as an academy. And of course, from that group, we would make the transition to the respective age groups. We have had some discussion with Coach McLaren, and we, of course, is very serious about not bypassing our own local talent, whom sometimes may feel shortchanged. But we will be working on that assiduously and with the highest level of urgency to ensure that the elite local players get their slice or get their opportunity to showcase their talent at the national level. So we have had this discussion. I mean, Pierre2 is at under 14, is very well aware. Freddie Butler, who is at under 17, he is very much aware. And of course, the under 20. And this go this goes also to the fairer sex, to the ladies. We want to ensure that each of our reggae girls get the opportunity to showcase their talent. So this is something, sir, that we are aware of and something that we are giving some serious attention.
Thank you very much, Dwight.
That-
Gordon, go ahead.
One more
Dwight.
question, Simon, if I may.
Okay, go ahead.
This is more a financial question geared toward Mr. Speed and anybody involved in that standpoint of the JFF. How has your goals towards Adidas revenue been? And are there do you see a greater need for either an online presence or a physical store presence or physical presence of Adidas kit sales at matches or in a physical store to enhance that revenue growth come in 2025 and as we kick into the World Cup here in 2026?
Dennis, I think you should take that on.
I believe he's muted.
Yes, Mr. Chung.
Yeah. The revenues from the Adidas deal have been consistent with the contract. So we're happy for that. It does have some performance related triggers in there. So, we're hoping that next year we'll see even more coming. But the revenues have been well received. It has been good.
And Dennis, you need to let the gentlemen and maybe ladies know that on the 19th, that's next week, Thursday, I think, we'll be having an end of year meeting with Adidas just to review what will have transpired through 2024 and for them to give us an update on what will happen in 2025.
Yes. So we'll be reviewing that next week. In terms of presence, I mean, our contract, of course, restricts us from selling. We think Adidas does have a very good online presence. What we don't have is presence in terms of a physical presence in the country because they really distribute through Adidas retailers. So what we've been trying to do is see if we can actually get some things to sell here. But that is something that Adidas will have to approve. What I think is important also is because we see a lot of merchandise being sold that are not genuine. We've pointed that out to Adidas also for them to address it. But there is nothing else that we can do from that standpoint. We're waiting on them to come back to us and say, yes, you can sell some of these items, but until then, our contract does not allow us to do that. What we want to do here, though, is we are looking at developing a JFF store where we can sell JFF merchandise and also merchandise for the clubs, the JPL clubs. So that's one of the things that we're looking at an online store and also a physical store. But we couldn't be selling the Adidas branded kits because that's outside of our contract.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Much
you, Dwight.
appreciated.
Thank you, Dwight. Before we go into Kathia, we're just acknowledging the presence of the general manager of the JFF, Mr. Roy Simpson, who has joined us. Kathia Davis, good morning. You can unmute and go ahead.
Hi, morning, gentlemen and ladies. I just want to find out in terms of how it is that, or let me rather ask this, are there any plans to establish partnership with international clubs or organization to enhance our local football?
Very interesting. In fact, it's refreshing for the first time in almost an hour to hear the voice of a female. Thank you so much, madam. Next Tuesday at 6 p.m., this process will start. We have had discussions with the Argentine ambassador here in Jamaica, and we have established a partnership which will be formally announced on Tuesday evening at 6 p.m. at the Pegasus. So yes, ma'am, we're working on that, and this is just a start. I think it's very important. And in fact, part of the early discussions would be a kind of a bilateral program where coaches would go to countries overseas visiting top-notch clubs, and they would probably come here to see what we do have to offer. But very relevant question, and we are working on that.
All right, great, thank you.
All right,
Okay, man.
thank you, Kathia. Jason Hall, you can go ahead.
Thank you, Simon. Jason Hall, Jason Buna TV here. Good morning to the President, Mr. Ricketts, and General Secretary, Mr. Chung,
Morning,
also
sir.
General
Good
Manager,
morning.
Mr. Simpson. Good morning, everyone. First question is mainly directed towards Mr. Simpson. You had a interview on television recently where you mentioned Mason Greenwood and his status. I just was wondering, a few weeks on, can we get an update? Has there been any movement on that situation?
Hi, good morning, Jason. How you doing? No, it is still the same as is when I spoke the last time.
You have a follow-up
Okay.
question, Jason?
Yes, I do. So I've been keeping up with the U17's preparation, and I happen to know that a part of why they've been able to, keep this thing going is a lot of outside, I guess you'd say, funding and fundraising initiatives have been done to ensure that the camps can keep going. Is this something that the JFF is looking to do moving forward with our youth teams, where they utilize help from outside to ensure that the preparation is at a level that we believe is enough for us to have, a good chance of qualifying in these competitions moving forward?
I think that's something that we've always been doing. It of course depends on two things: the person who is organizing it, and kudos to Omar McFarlane and his team. He has been doing a great job there. It also depends on the JFF image at the time, and the truth is that we've made efforts before, but because of what the image is, and this is what people need to understand: the image is very, very important. People flock towards a brand that has a positive image, and once that starts to shift, then you're going to have that shift. So I think that the time is right now. As you'd have heard me say, we had 3 different JFF football supporters club who approached us in the past 2 months and say, hey, we want to do some work with you from the diaspora, and it's not like we approach them. So I think that you're going to see more and more of that happening, because people are seeing JFF in a much more positive light. And I think that it is welcome, even in the, one of them was sharing with me that even the US, for example, just launched a community program, because US soccer, of course, needs money too, and they were able to raise $32,000 US, so I think we're seeing more and more of that happening.
Okay, thank you, Jason. Shav, your audio should be better now. Shav and Peart.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah, that's good. Go ahead.
All right, thanks everyone for having me, and good morning to everyone here. Firstly, Simon, I want to say congratulations on being appointed a permanent position there now. I mean, you have done a great job so far, and I hope that you continue doing the great job that you're doing. I think one of my questions has been asked already by Jason regarding Mason. I think the other one would be regarding the local camp for the January-February period. I know it's something that the US normally does. When the MLS USL season ends, they normally have like a camp for their players, and they normally play friendlies. Do we so the question is, do we have like a specific time frame as to when those camps will actually begin? And also the plans, do we plan to potentially get in friendlies with the United States, in that they will be looking for friendlies for their MLS team as well?
Roy, you want to answer that? Can you?
Hi, can you repeat the question? My connection dropped a little.
All right, so just seeking in regards to the local camp. I know the US normally seeks friendlies for their US-based national team. I was wondering when when do we plan on starting our local camp? And we plan to potentially utilize that option of getting a friendly against a US team or a Mexico or a Canadian team during that period?
Hi, Shavon. First of all, when in terms of when you're negotiating friendly games, it is based on availability of the respective national teams. So usually the US or any one of our counterparts would indicate to us, you know, that they are extending an invite for us. With regards to the local camp, what we are doing is that you'll all appreciate that we are currently in our JPL season. So what we'll be having is what we term a non-residential camp. So we have the players travel on respective days, and then they go back to their respective clubs, but closer to the game. So for example, if the game is on the 9th, we probably come in match day -2, which is the 7th, and then we'll run them in a residence for the period to incorporate the official training and the 2 games. So that's going to be the structure of the camp. But again, usually how it works is that based on our situation, we have to be cautious and very careful in terms of how we extend invitations to respective member associations. So for example, you might extend an invitation to the US to play, but they'll come back to you and say, okay, we'll play, but you're responsible for hotel accommodation, airfares, transportation, you know, probably if they go through an agent, match fees for the agent. So we really have to be careful how we do it. But usually those big hitters don't usually play outside of the windows based on availability of their respective players.
Well, no, the reason why I asked is due to the fact that because I know during the January-February period before the MLS kicks off, they usually have friendlies within those windows for their MLS-based players. So that's the reason why I asked. And I think so you have US, Canada, the leagues that run that ends in December.
We could pursue that avenue, now that you have said that. But as it is now, we are having negotiations with Trinidad for 2 or 3 games, sometimes in January. But what you have said, we can discuss it and see affordability would certainly be an issue. And we will look on what you have suggested and see how workable it is.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks for the time.
All right, CC, go ahead.
Yes, thanks for having me here. Well, congratulations again in terms of what Jamaica would have achieved so far during the year, and you know the little hiccups and everything, but I think overall JFF has done pretty much a far better job now than previous years. So I think even with the transparency, it's kind of better now. So my question is with regards to the local camp, right? I know it says local camp, but you have players who play in USL who their leagues normally finish in November because I think it's March to November. Would it not be prudent of the JFF or prudent of the administration to see that it's a local camp, but it's also for some of those players who play in the USL who are not necessarily active within that period of time?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
you are correct. You are correct. Because once players are available, it's not exclusively local based. Because those who are domiciled in, say, North America and are not actively participating in official competitions, they would be invited as well.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Prezi, just to back you up on this, if you remember the last time we had that agreement with Trinidad, we brought in Omari Hutchinson, we brought in Splat.
Right.
So
Right.
we invited some of our junior players out of the UK.
Okay, so my next the next final question I have is with regards to partnership with in terms of gyms, local gyms, and like our nutritionists with regards to assisting the players in the league locally, where they can get better, develop better physicality and I would say nutrition wise.
Roy, I suppose that's yours.
Absolutely. Okay, so for example, Arnett has their own gym, Mount Pleasant has their own gym. So, you know, we have to be careful. Because what you don't want to do is not to impose on what is happening with regards to preparation in their JPL season, because that is the priority of the respective clubs. But what we tend to do, and usually do, is have partnerships, or we say to respective gyms that we have a local camp running. The coaches or the trainer, you know, have included in the schedule 2 gym sessions. So, for example, we'll say to a Spry, we'll say to a, you know, any one of the gyms that can you afford us some time to come in, and they usually facilitate us. But as it relates specifically to the players in their respective clubs, usually it is the clubs who monitor and maintain that. When they come to us now, we will maintain what has been done in the club. But to say to a respective player that we have made arrangement for a particular gym, we do not do that. Only when they're in our space, we will afford them that.
Thank you, CC. Thank you, Mr. Simpson. Dre, I believe I saw your hand raised. Do you have a question? No. Okay. All right, Mr. Simpson, Mr. Chung, Mr. Ricketts, thank you very much for your time and for being able to answer the questions. Thank you very much to the members of the media as well.
May I just use this opportunity to wish, all the participants a very, very happy and productive holiday season. And just be very careful on the roads. And when you drink, please do so responsibly. And I really do hope that the JFF and the respective media houses will collaborate in a very positive way for year 2025. Thank you
This
so much.
video is brought to you by Andy Gone Nuts. 100% guaranteed fresh coconut water delivered straight to your door. Call 876-309-6128. That's 876-309-6128. Refreshing and affordable. For more information, follow them on Instagram at Andy Gone Nuts. Truly refreshing. And Crumble by Mrs. C. Old English fudge and other delectable sweet treats. Call or WhatsApp 876-586-0471. That's 876-586-0471. This video is also brought to you by BLC Jamaica Security Electronics, specializing in alarm system, video surveillance, camera system or CCTV, barrier system, gate automation, and access control. Call 876-320-7711. That's 876-320-7711 or 876-351-1105. That's 876-351-1105. Hey guys, thank you so much for taking your time out to watch this video in particular. But let me give you an update on a channel called Sport City. Yes, Sport City. It is a channel dedicated to everything related to Jamaican sports. Football, cricket, athletics, netball, rugby league, rugby union, tennis, lacrosse, swimming, you name it, we got it on Sport City. And what is the channel designed to do? It is designed to highlight Jamaican talents across all of those sporting disciplines. If you're a Jamaican and you're playing that sport, then we got you covered on Sport City. So it's quite simple, guys. Hit the subscribe button to Sport City right now.
Hi, my name is Lee Williamson. Subscribe to Reggae Boys Commentary.
Hi, my name is Joby McAnuff. Subscribe to Reggae Boys Commentary. I'm Javon Watson, and you're watching Reggae Boys Commentary.
Hi everybody, I'm Darren Moore, and you're watching Reggae Boys Commentary.
Yes, Reggae Boys Commentary, like and subscribe, yeah? Reggae Boys Commentary, like, share, and subscribe. Reggae Boys Commentary, subscribe, like, and share. Is that the right order?